us with that perspective. Meanwhile, we leave it there and shift our focus to international news. There is major political turmoil in the United States of America, where the federal government has officially shut down its non-essential operations. This crisis, which is the first under the current Donald Trump administration, is shaking markets and putting hundreds of thousands of lives on hold. Here is now a breakdown of exactly what this means. Ladies and gentlemen, a shutdown occurs when the US Congress fails to pass the necessary funding bills, also known as appropriations, to keep federal agencies running before the start of the new fiscal year, which begins on the 1st of October. Without approved funding, non-essential government services are forced to stop. This deadlock stems from a bitter political fight between President Donald Trump's Republican Party and the Democrats, primarily over the healthcare funding. Democrats have demanded an extension of subsidies under the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, arguing that without them, millions of families will face sharp rises in insurance costs. Republicans, however, have refused to accept these conditions, and all of this has led to a complete impasse on the budget deal. Domestically, the costs are now staggering in the US. Roughly 750,000 federal employees have been furloughed, which means that they've been sent home without pay. Even essential staff like air traffic controllers and border security personnel have to continue their work without an immediate paycheck. Services like passport processing, national park operations, and certain food inspections have been immediately suspended, costing the US economy an estimated $400 million every single day. President Donald Trump, however, has been combative. He's blamed the Democrats for holding the government hostage with their healthcare demands. Crucially, the administration has suggested that the shutdown could be used as an opportunity to accelerate deeper permanent cuts to federal departments and potentially remove workers from the administration. In fact, remove anyone who is deemed non-essential. For the international workforce, the impact is also immediate and focused on key visa services. The US Citizenship and Immigration Services, which is also known as the USCIS, continues most operations because it is funded by application fees. However, the vital Department of Labor is federally funded and has entirely shut down. This means that the processing of labor condition applications, the LCAs, which is a mandatory first step for new H-1B, E-3 and other skilled worker visas, has stopped. So for thousands of skilled professionals, particularly those from India, who are seeking a new job, transferring employers, or extending their stay in the US, the immigration process requiring an LCA is now completely frozen until the political deadlock is broken and the government reopens. In short, the standoff creates massive uncertainty for the world's largest economy. Until lawmakers find a path to compromise, the financial toll and the disruption to government services, both inside and outside the US, will only continue to mount. Joining me on the broadcast is Ambassador KP Fabian, former diplomat with us. Ambassador Fabian, this is not the first time, sir, that the US government has gone into lockdown mode. However, do you feel this time around the situation might be slightly different?
Let me put it this way. We are witnessing, to use a phrase familiar to students of history, we are witnessing Trump's March of Holy. And that March of Holy includes many acts, including tariffs against India and other countries too. Now, in this case, the Democrats have got 47 in the Senate, and the Republicans have got 53. And for a funding bill like the budget to pass, it needs 60 votes from the Senate. In other words, 7 Democrats have to vote with the Republicans, which the Democrats have refused to do because they want health benefits, public funding on health benefits to continue. Not only that, they said they were prepared to sit and negotiate. Then the Republicans went on holiday. And now, of course, there is a Jewish holiday. So, in other words, Trump wanted a shutdown, and he got it. But as the Chinese say, be careful what you wish for.
Right, absolutely. Master KB Fabin, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast with that perspective. We leave it there and step into a very short break.